The behavior of Democrats last night was completely disgraceful and demonstrated how severely out of touch they are with the American public. It was the most shameful moment in the history of presidential addresses in that beautiful chamber.
I found it very cowardly that a lot of the Democrats didn't stand, didn't clap, didn't do anything to support anything that Donald Trump is trying to do as president to make this country better. It was very shameful to the Democrats.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat.
The only thing I kept thinking last night was I really don't know what Democrats do. Like, I mean, they clearly lost a long time ago back in November, but just as a party, it's like Republicans and Democrats aren't even playing the same game. They're not in the same league. Like, they aren't speaking the same language. And I don't know what Democrats can do to cut through. I mean, my other thought was a lot of them honestly shouldn't have shown up if they weren't going to be more disruptive. Like, salute to Congressman Al Green. OG got some nuts, you know?
Yes, I believe you all saw what happened, how this man was kicked out simply because Democrats had a plan to all walk out immediately. This guy did this, their plan disrupted. I watched today, I realized their plan was that when Trump would start that speech, in between all Democrat members in Congress will walk out. It didn't walk out. But there are people in the Democrat Party are now furious. Like, why didn't the Democrat Party walk out immediately? They kick him out. I have seen all types of videos pertaining to what happened. I think this is my first video I'm reporting on this. I know you must have watched some of these clips, but I have different videos. It is important we take an exclusive look.
The behavior of Democrats last night was completely disgraceful and demonstrated how severely out of touch they are with the American public. It was the most shameful moment in the history of presidential addresses in that beautiful chamber. In what was supposed to be a unifying moment for our country, Democrat members of Congress instead screamed at the President of the United States, who was just overwhelmingly reelected by their constituents, walked out of the chamber, and worst of all, they disrespected the American people. Democrats didn't stand to keep men out of women's sports. They couldn't even clap for a girl who got her head smashed in by a man on a volleyball court. Democrats didn't stand for an innocent and beautiful child who is surviving brain cancer. They opposed eliminating taxes on tips and Social Security. They didn't stand in favor of cutting taxes for hardworking Americans. They couldn't even clap for two mothers whose daughters were killed by illegal aliens. One of the only things that could get Democrats off their feet last night was cheering for Ukraine, not for America. Last night was a very clarifying moment for our country. The Democrats exposed themselves as the party of insanity and hate, the party that wants to put America last. They've allowed their Trump derangement syndrome to stop them from celebrating America and our people. And we will not allow them to forget that. And it's not just the Democrat Party. The mainstream media still doesn't get it. Last night, MSNBC's Nicole Wallace disgustingly looped in a 13-year-old boy with brain cancer into an attack on the president over January 6th. And CNN's first chyron out of the speech called it divisive. President Trump wasn't divisive. The Democrats were. And CNN was proven wrong by their own viewers, 69% of whom, in a post-speech poll, said they had a positive reaction to the president's speech. It's sad and frankly pathetic that Democrats and liberals in the legacy media continue to allow their hatred for the president to override their love for our country. But nevertheless, the president will continue to unify this nation through policies that are grounded in common sense and that uplift all Americans.
And bullshit, let me just be real. And we weren't gonna sit for that shit. We wouldn't, you know. We showed up. And if he had some sense, then maybe we would have been about that life. But y'all know he ain't got no sense. So please give some love. This took a little bit of coordinating to do for sure. We got some cool shirts. We got Madam Williams.
This is not what we should be doing. I don't even know why we fighting with Greenland. Why we fighting with Greenland? We fighting with Canada. We fighting with Mexico. Yet we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like, this is not America. This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me up because I'm ready to get on with it. That while we may not have the numbers just yet, that doesn't mean that we don't have fight left in our bodies. And so I am going to fight him every step of the way until we get what we deserve, because it was my ancestors that built this mother. Okay, I'm done now. I'm done.
First of all, thank you for making the back of my head famous. But second of all, if we could do a sequel, if you could tell Donald Trump anything tonight, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to grow a spine and stop being Putin's hoe.
I think the theme of tonight is that Democrats hate America, Democrats hate children, and Democrats hate women. And I surmise that because they said...
Yes, for some time now, I realized something with this lady. She's looking for popularity. That is all. When she do this every time, say some ridiculous things for people to pick up, start talking about her, that is what she wants. Giving her this attention, sometimes it is not good, because when she realizes people don't care about her, she will stop this. This is not the first time. 2 weeks ago, she went viral by saying some ridiculous things about Elon Musk. Now, look at this, working out this, that.
And just juxtapose that with the way both the president and Elon Musk talk in such derogatory terms about just the general federal government workforce.
Also, just like, what an impressive group of people, right? I mean, from all the different places I've ever worked in my life, like having a group of 4 colleagues that was that impressive and credentialed and articulate.
By the way,
it would be almost like working here.
Can we just point out all 4 of those?
Yes, what is more shocking is that when you look at polls, CNN, in fact, all the mainstream media, they all tells you like everybody is happy with what Trump is doing. If you look at even this address, majority of people were impressed. That is it. We never saw that during Biden period. That is to tell you that Trump is going on the right direction. Democrat at this time, they don't even know exactly what to do. They are confused altogether. When I look at how the mainstream media struggle to spin things, it is not working out because majority of people understand exactly what they are doing. They have painted all type of image within the space of 1 month. Oh, Trump did most days, and still yet nothing is working out. They need to rethink and change their strategies, not to interrupt the president when he is speaking.
I really miss Congress. Remember them?
Yeah.
They used to make the decisions and make the laws, and now we have nothing but executive orders.
Yeah.
It's so strange to me.
Can I speak to that? Do you want to set this up?
Well,
right.
Yeah, because the Democratic Party response to last night's joint address to Congress was delivered by Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin. Take a look.
America wants change, but there's a responsible way to make change and a reckless way. And we can make that change without forgetting who we are as a country. President Trump loves to say peace through strength. That's actually a line he stole from Ronald Reagan. But let me tell you, after the spectacle that just took place in the Oval Office last week, Reagan must be rolling in his grave. Don't tune out. It's easy to be exhausted, but America needs you now more than ever. Hold your elected officials, including me, accountable. Organize. Pick just one issue you're passionate about and engage. And doom scrolling doesn't count.
I thought she was very good and very presidential in many ways, and she wasn't being held hostage like the woman last year. But what I really wanted to talk about was something that you just said, that we don't have a separation of powers anymore.
No.
Right.
And there was a moment there that really stopped my heart. And that was when Trump shook hands with the members of the Supreme Court who were there. And those were Kavanaugh, Kagan, Barrett, and Justice Roberts. He said to Justice Roberts, thank you again, won't forget it. Now, what do you think he was referring to? Something like
I thought he helped him get into the men's room?
Well, no. The immunity that he basically passed on, correct? So that he would not be liable for the January 6th insurrection, if I recall.
He has a significant amount of immunity from this court. And I think, most people know now that the Supreme Court's approval rating is lower than it's ever been in the history of the court.
To say thank you to the Chief Justice and for his personal victory
it's wholly inappropriate.
There are no separations of powers anymore. The Congress is in the bag. Supreme Court is in the bag. I'm thinking that's what he was thinking anyway.
Can I add to that? Because, while I didn't watch it, I was looking for signs of an opposition party, which is what the Democratic Party must be at this point, not a resistance, because resistance is passive. Opposition is active. And I think that what I saw when Representative Al Green stood up and said, you don't have a mandate to take away Medicaid, and he was tossed out. I expected the rest of his Democratic caucus, the rest of his colleagues to walk out with him. Because alone you can survive, but together you thrive. That is the energy that we need. They should have stood with him in solidarity. And we had Karine Jean-Pierre here on this show yesterday, and she said, we have to have a sense of urgency as we move forward, and we cannot do it the way we have in the past. This is not normal. It is a 5-alarm fire. And what I want to say to the Democrats is, you can't play by the rules with a party that has thrown away the rule book.
That's
right. You cannot do it.
I thought that Alyssa Slotkin was masterful, and I think she gave Democrats the winning message that they've flailed to have. But I thought the antics on the floor were not helpful. I don't think that waving a cane is the optics that the Democrats want in this moment.
Should they have done?
I don't think holding up signs which are now just being mocked on the internet. It's like, who is advising these people?
Written by Chat GPT. I mean, that's Jake said that. I was thinking fifth verse, same as first, second, third, fourth. Willie, there were the insults, there were the taunts, there were the exaggerations. There was a partisanship, top to bottom. There was the personal attacks, attacking people by name. And, of course, the facts that were just wrong, whether it was the United States spending more money on Ukraine or calling himself the greatest president with the greatest start. Oh, by the way, did you hear that number 2 is George Washington? I have not seen the historical treatise on that yet, but that's what President Trump said last night.
Since I started doing it when George W. Bush was president of the United States, I don't think I've ever seen something that was so pointed, so partisan, not just in what the president was saying, but in the mood in the room, the sort of...
That is it. The View is here crying like everybody should have walked out. What will happen next? They just bring in a resolution to censor this guy who interrupted Trump when he was speaking, and that will pass. A lot of people are excited to see this happening. They think they can do anything and go free. Democrat plan to walk out was not the best strategy. Behave yourself, interact. If you oppose each other, that is how opposition parties behave. When the president is speaking, you respect that. That's it. Thank you guys for always being there, sharing out my videos. God bless you abundantly. If you see clips after this, that is just for the YouTube algorithm.
But I think this was a lesson. Look at what's happening. The Democrats are not even acknowledging.
But what Musk is doing seems much more indiscriminate.
People like a party and elect it because they can't. He talked about. I never. Wait a second. I'd heard this. I'd not heard the story.
I'll be honest. I don't think this network makes any other programming. So we can do whatever we want as long as we rap before the new season of South.
Watch this moment where, of course,
when we talk about.
Go Dan. What's up, my brother?
It's all because of Trump. It is insane.
And how did you see the